A very good afternoon. This is Avinindra Som and you're listening to the news in detail on Gold FM.
The news headlines on Gold FM.
Another revelation of another Iranian ship. Sri Lankan Airlines cancels flights to Dubai and Riyadh. Middle Eastern conflict burns on for sixth day. Trump's war powers to continue unimpeded. Netanyahu fears US and Iran holding secret talks. Nepal's first election after violent Gen Z protests. Is the Celsi administration to be changed?
The top story on Gold FM.
More than a day has passed, but we are still receiving updates and revelations on yesterday's sinking of an Iranian vessel. The topic, which brought the Middle Eastern conflict close to home, was widely debated in Parliament too. Of the 180 sailors who were believed to be on board, 84 were brought back dead to the Galle Hospital. 32 rescued sailors are currently receiving treatment at the Galle National Hospital. Now, speaking to the press, US Secretary of War Pete Hegseth confirmed last evening that the US torpedoed and sank the vessel in the Indian Ocean, in the first such attack since World War II. The Pentagon released black and white footage of a Mark 48 heavyweight torpedo striking the frigate, sending a geyser of seawater into the air.
Yesterday, in the Indian Ocean, an American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death. The first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II. Like in that war, back when we were still the War Department, we are fighting to win.
Now, however, things aren't so clear-cut. There was a contradicting story put forward by the Sri Lankan Navy, who together with the Air Force held a media briefing on the matter. Navy spokesperson Commander Vidika Sampath gave this explanation.
Today early morning, MRCC received a distress signal, though it was beyond our waters, but it is within our search and rescue region. As we are a maritime nation, we are obliged to respond. We are the first responders as per the international obligation. So Navy swiftly coordinated with the Maritime Rescue Coordinating Center, and also we disseminate this information to the Sri Lanka Air Force and Coast Guard as well. And we launch and dispatch our craft with all the necessary rescue team and the necessary devices to render humanitarian assistance, and we reached up to that location and continue doing this search operation. So while doing search operation, we found people floating in the water and rescued them, and subsequently when we inquired them, we found that those people are belonging to the Iranian ship, and we understood that they need prompt medical attention, and we swiftly transferred them to the Karapitiya Teaching Hospital. So we still continue in the search and rescue operation in that particular area with the calculation of weather condition and the sea maritime related calculation, and we are continuing the search and rescue operation in that particular area. And also we have found some dead bodies, and we suspect these bodies are belongs to the same ship because we found these things in the particular search and rescue area.
He also insisted that the distressed ship wasn't even visible.
When they reached up to that place, we could not find the ship, but we found slight oil patch and floating life raft in that particular area, and we started doing searching survivors in that particular area because we understood that the survivors should be in the water.
The Navy also claimed that there wasn't any other ships in the vicinity of the scene. That prompted this question and response.
So does that mean the ship was away from the normal shipping channel? Because we have thousands of ships traversing around.
Okay.
Stick to a certain corridor.
Maybe due to the time of that incident, it may had happened that we have sighted only the while we reaching on that particular area, we have sighted none in that particular area because of the maybe the time of that incident and going to the
There was also speculation that the Iranian vessel was awaiting permission for the port call in Sri Lanka.
Just want to clear the air about this allegation where that this Iranian naval vessel was waiting to call port in Sri Lanka. Has that happened, or is this just speculation?
So my focus is to give the updates on the rescue mission. So right now we are doing rescue mission effectively. So later on we can go into further details. So as of international obligations and the provisions and the regulations and the conventions, we are doing our part and we are attending search and rescue operation because that incident had happened within our search and rescue area.
Another contradicting revelation, this time on the location of the ship, was made by Dr. Nalinda Jaitis in Parliament a short while ago too.
දැන් මේ සිදුවීම සිදු වුණේ ගාලුවරා ඉඳලා නාවික සත්වම් 19ක දුර සීමාවේ. ගාලුවරා ඉඳලා නාවික සත්වම් 19යි. මේ සිදුවීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඉස්සෙල්ලාම ඊයේ උදෑසන 5:08ට නාවික හමුදාවට අයිති Maritime Rescue Coordinating Center එකට MRCC එකට තමයි ඉස්සෙල්ලාම පණිවිඩයක් ලැබෙන්නේ. ඒ ලැබෙන්නේ ප්‍රහාරයක් එල්ල කළාද නැද්ද කියන මත නෙමෙයි. යම් ආකාරයක ඒ මුහුදු කලාපය තුල යම් මෘත් ශරීර ප්‍රමාණයක් පාවෙමින් තිබෙනවායි කියන පණිවිඩය තමයි ඉස්සෙල්ලාම ලැබෙන්නේ. ඒ අනුව පැයක් ගතවන්නට මත්තෙන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා නාවික හමුදාවත් ශ්‍රී ලංකා ගුවන් හමුදාවත් බේරා ගැනීම මෙහෙම දියත් කරනවා. ඒ වෙලාවේ නාවික හමුදාවට හෝ ගුවන් හමුදාවට හෝ ආරක්ෂා අමාත්‍යාංශයේ තියෙන කාර්යභාරය මේ ප්‍රහාරයක්ද ප්‍රහාරයේ සිදුුනේ කොහොමද ඒක ටෝපිඩෝ ඇටැක් එකක්ද කියන එක හොයලා ඉන්න නෙවෙයි. ඇත්තට මානුෂීය පදනමින් මැදිහත් වෙලා ඒක අනතුරක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් ප්‍රහාරයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් ඕන දෙයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් ජීවිත ගලවා ගැනීම. ඒ අනුව රජයේ පැත්තෙන් ආරක්ෂා අමාත්‍යාංශය නාවික හමුදාව ගුවන් හමුදාව මෙහෙවල මේ කටයුතු කළා. අපිට පුළුවන්කම ලැබුණා මේ අනතුරු ලක්වෙච්ච ජීවත් 32 දෙනෙක් කරාපිටිය ගාල්ල ජාතික රෝහලට ගෙන එන්නට දැනට එක්කෙනෙක් දැරිසත්කාර ඒකකයේ ප්‍රතිකාර ලබනවා. ඒ වගේම 87 දෙනෙක්ගේ මෘත ශරීර දැනට අරගෙන ඇවිල්ලා තිබෙනවා. අපිට ගාල්ල ජාතික රෝහලේ සහ අවට ජාතික රෝහලේ තිබෙන ෆ්‍රීසර්ස් මේකට ප්‍රමාණවත් නැහැ. ඇත්ත. ඒ වගේම රජ්‍යයත් සතුවත් ෆ්‍රීසර් කන්ටේනර් එකක් නැහැ. ඒ නිසාම පෞද්ගලික අංශයෙන් මේක අපි ඉටු කරගත යුතුයි.
Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi took to X a short while ago to comment on the incident too. I will now quote his tweet. The US has perpetrated an atrocity at sea 2,000 miles away from Iran's shores. Frigate Dina, a guest of India's Navy carrying almost 130 sailors, was struck in international waters without warning. Mark my words, the US will come to bitterly regret precedent it has set, unquote.
This is the local news on Gold FM.
Sri Lankan Airlines grounded flights to Riyadh and Dubai once more today despite early indications of a partial reopening of United Arab Emirates airspace. The Civil Aviation Authority previously suggested special operations by carriers including Emirates, Fly Dubai and Fly Arabia. Meanwhile, Foreign Minister Vijay Herat spoke with counterparts in Qatar, Lebanon, Jordan and Kuwait to discuss the escalating conflict. Minister Herat expressed concern over the safety of Sri Lankan citizens abroad and offered humanitarian assistance from the government. Separately, opposition leader Sajid Premadasa met with the Iranian ambassador in Colombo to convey condolences for the victims of violence and call for regional peace. Citizens across the island are still facing severe difficulties due to a shortage of Litro and Laugh's LP gas, despite Litro Gas officials stating that 38,000 metric tons of gas have been procured for this month. The company maintains that the distribution remains ongoing, yet consumers report empty shelves and significant hardship in securing essential LP gas.
Now for some news in brief.
A parliamentary select committee chaired by Nalinda Jaitis was appointed to investigate preparedness failures related to Cyclone Ditwa and recommend preventive measures.
The business news on Gold FM.
Oil prices jumped over 3% as the escalating US-Israeli conflict with Iran raised fears of disruption to Middle East energy supplies. Brent crude climbed to $83 and 99 cents a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate rose $77 and 42 cents. Markets remain tense over potential supply risks through the Strait of Hormuz.
International news on Gold FM.
The Middle East conflict continues for the sixth day with fresh military strikes risking political tensions and widespread disruption to travel and trade across the region. Overnight, the Israeli Defense Forces announced that they had begun another wave of airstrikes targeting military infrastructure in Tehran. Explosions were reported in nearby cities as the campaign against Iranian military assets intensified. At the same time, Iran launched several missiles towards Israel, with rocket trails seen above Tel Aviv and explosions being heard near Jerusalem. Meanwhile, Israeli strikes near Beirut in Lebanon reportedly killed 3 people and injured several others. Later, the Kuwait Interior Ministry stated that the reported oil tank explosion occurred outside territorial waters too. The Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah vowed it will not surrender as fighting with Israel intensified. Meanwhile, the United States Senate voted 53 to 47 to block a bipartisan resolution that would have required congressional approval for further military action against Iran, effectively rejecting a proposal to limit President Donald Trump's authority. The measure, supported by Democrats and a small number of Republicans, aimed to reassert Congress' constitutional power to declare war. Now, in the meantime, French President Emmanuel Macron urged Israel to avoid launching a ground offensive in Lebanon, warning that further escalation could destabilize the wider region. Meanwhile, drone strikes on a US command center in Port Shuaib killed 6 American soldiers, according to the United States Department of Defense, which identified the latest victims. US Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth told reporters at the Pentagon last evening that Iran tried to kill Donald Trump. He confirmed during the same press briefing where he updated on the Iranian vessel that US forces hunted down and killed the leader of the unit responsible for the attempted assassination.
Also, yesterday, the leader of the unit who attempted to assassinate President Trump has been hunted down and killed. Iran tried to kill President Trump, and President Trump got the last laugh.
The Department of Justice previously brought charges against an Afghan national, Farhad Shakeri, in connection with the alleged Iranian plot. Prosecutors in Manhattan alleged that an official in Iran's Revolutionary Guard directed Shakeri to devise a plan to surveil and kill Trump in September. Shakeri remained at large and was believed to be in Iran at the time the criminal complaint was filed. We now bring you a clip from our bulletin on Monday by Professor Rohan Gunaratne, who spoke of the said individual.
It also attempted to assassinate President Trump. A man called Farhad Shakeri, who is IRGC agent, planned operation to kill President Trump. The same Farhad Shakeri recruited, because he was in Sri Lankan prison for a short period of time, he recruited Maldivian national to attack Arugam Bay and to attack the Israeli consulate in Colombo. So I believe that if any country is sponsoring and supporting terrorism, that country, the regime should change, because it's the global threat. Iran will have a very stable government soon, and the Iranian regime that has engaged in building fissile programs, meaning nuclear programs, missile programs, that has attacked now the countries in the Gulf and a few other countries in the Middle East, and also Iran's proxy program to support terrorism will come to an end.
Moving to South Asia, Nepal goes to the polls today as rapper turned politician Balendra Shah of the Rastriya Swarnastra party challenges 4-time former Premier KP Sharma Oli for the top job. Other major contenders include Gagan Kumar Thapa of the Nepali Congress and former Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal, as the nation looks to move past a year of political turmoil.
Entertainment news on Gold FM.
Fire and Ash has surpassed $1 billion at the global box office, making the Avatar one of the few franchises where every installment has crossed the $1 billion mark. It becomes the third Walt Disney Studios release in 2025 to reach the milestone, after Zootopia 2 and Lilo and Stitch.
Sports news on Gold FM.
Sports Minister Sunil Kumar Gamage stated that discussions are underway with the International Cricket Council to transfer the management of Sri Lanka cricket to an interim committee or an authorised official. And that's all the news for now. Stay tuned to Gold FM for the latest updates. This is